thought building this camper van was gonna be pretty straightforward, but the deeper I get into this build, the more problems I keep running into. Nothing fits the way I expected. I keep having to change plans because of the van curve we got going here. Every mistake costs me space, which is the one thing I don't have. Despite the van not being completely done yet, I can still see a vision. And I can figure this out and get this build done, I think. I've come a long ways so far. That's not gonna work either. The hardest parts of this van build are the things that nobody really talks about, nobody really prepared me for. The tiny decisions that you have to make take a lot longer as opposed to a normal house because I'm limited on space and fixing problems you didn't even know existed yet. Trying to build this van up when I'm already living a busy life, working, training, it honestly has been way harder than I thought. And I'm building this van up to save me commuting time. But honestly, building this thing is wasting the most time that I'm actually trying to save. The AC unit install was definitely the scariest thing. I was afraid the refrigerant was going to blow up in my hand when I was putting it in, but it didn't. I still got all my fingers, so we're good. This tarp's not coming off though. You'll see it come off in the future. It's not ready to come off yet. But if I show you here, you can see, oh man, that wood is splitting. Well, that's not good. Nothing a little duct tape can do. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, obviously. I had to put these big spacers in here so it could be somewhat level to the ground. You know, I don't want it to stick out like this because it's got this nose down here. So I didn't want the nose to be sticking out so much over my van. But yeah, it was just more drilling holes into my van, which I really did not want to do. And then I had to do it on this. I had to do it on this side too. This is just a bunch of special lap sealant or whatever you call it. And then I ran it all through the door of my van. And it was, for some reason, it was so cold when I was doing it. My theory was I could get this done during the winter time so it'll be ready by the summer. Build this in the winter time. That guy just nodded at me. Everybody's watching me film right now. Anyways, where was I at? I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, it was so cold. I didn't even want to build this. I picked the coldest day of the year, I guess. So the heater works, technically. The Fahrenheit thing is messed up on it. I mean, it turns on, it works, whatever. Let me give you a good example. The heater doesn't need to be on right now, but I'll set it to like 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And for some reason, it'll heat up to like 88, which is not right. So I'll subtract like 20 degrees. I'll set it to 48 degrees to make it land on 68. And it'll run smooth all night. But until around 1 a.m., the heater will run and it will not stop. It'll be on like a trickle mode all day long, you know? So if it gets too hot, then it'll turn off until it gets too cold and it'll turn back on. It'll just trickle itself, or it'll just blow heat at a very slow rate until 1 a.m. At 1 a.m. for some reason, it just starts blasting heat and I'll wake up and it'll be like 96 degrees Fahrenheit in my van. And it's not a Celsius thing, it's not set to Celsius, I already checked that, but that's all I'm gonna do for now. I'm not gonna fix it. For now at least, I'm not going to. I got much bigger fish to catch in this van. The heater works, keeps me warm, I'm not freezing to death. That's really all that matters right now. So fixing that little controller situation, that can wait. This was literally the worst van build day of my life. I literally ended up having to sleep in the cold because the generator was not running. I couldn't figure out why it was not charging my van in the winter time. Because you gotta think, my solar panels are not gonna be able to keep up with the sun during the winter time. So eventually my van's gonna die, or it's gonna get low and it's gonna need to get charged. So I've been using this generator to charge it, and the battery on my van was on an extremely low battery, and my generator was not running at all. And then eventually my power just ended up dying. And I wasn't gonna drive home. I was gonna troubleshoot this until I figured it out. Captain always goes down with his ship. So it got to the point where I just slept right in the cold. It was on one of the coldest days of the year as well. You wanna know the worst part about this? It was such an easy fix. The fix was so easy, but I had to sleep in the cold over it. This was the problem right here. I didn't have my instruction manual the week I was out when my generator decided to poop out on me. All I had to do was read my instruction manual and do what it told me to do. And I didn't do it because I didn't have it with me and I didn't know it was possible. But this inverter can tell the generator how many amps to pull. My generator was pulling 75 amps. I could have told it to pull 50 and it would have charged my van up perfectly fine. It was able to pull 75 amps at first, but now I guess all of a sudden it just stopped being able to pull 75 amps. So we ended up here. And it was really, really dumb decision for that. I could have just pulled out my instruction manual, whatever. But you gotta vouch for me. I'm working 50-hour weeks, 2 hours of weightlifting, 30 minutes of mobility after my workout. I'm running a YouTube channel. I'm eating 4,500 calories to keep up with my physique. Eating takes a lot of time, by the way. And then I got my van built. So when something fails unexpectedly, it's not just annoying, it completely throws off your schedule. This issue is actually so bad, it caused my water pump to freeze over now. The water pump is what runs my sink, so I can have running water. Guess who couldn't do their dishes for a week? This guy. Because the water froze over, broke one of my pipes, and it broke all the internals inside the water pump. So now, instead of making progress, I'm rebuilding stuff I already finished. I had a generator that wasn't running and a water pump that wasn't working. So I tried to fix my water pump, and while trying to fix it, I drilled a hole in my hand. So, like any other project, a 30-minute project turned into a 4-hour trip to the clinic. All because I was getting impatient, didn't pack the right tools. I went through all that trouble, all because I left my van freeze over one night. This 120 volt breaker box was probably the biggest mistake I've made so far. I spent way too much time trying to troubleshoot it, when the reality was, it was just broken from the start. And because I bought it off Amazon instead of directly from the manufacturer, I got a bad unit. What not to do? Don't buy a Paneltronics from Amazon. Buy it from the original manufacturer. One thing I'm learning from this van, sometimes spending more money up front actually saves you more money. Don't do what I did, where you bought a shore inlet and an inverter, didn't know how to use it, then you bought a Paneltronics on top of that you didn't know how to use. Then by the time you install the inverter and the shore, by the time you try to test your panel, the warranty already runs out. So I couldn't return my panel and get a new one now, because the warranty expired. Honestly, most of the electrical work has just been troubleshooting. Damn, they just got into a car accident. Oh, no they didn't. It sounded like they got in an accident. That dude wanted to drive full speed down the parking lot, cutting through all the parking spots. Almost T-boned some guy right there. My van was probably blocking him and he couldn't see him coming. Ooh. You see a lot of crazy shit on the road. Anyways, with all the troubleshooting electrical things going on, I'm building a full off-grid electrical system, which is very advanced. Because before this, I didn't even know how to shut a breaker off in a house, and I didn't know what it was for. Now I'm building a full off-grid electrical system. And honestly, this van build is starting to feel bigger than just a van build. The stuff I learned and the skills that I've learned doing this van build are going to carry me throughout my entire life now. I genuinely think this is preparing me to build my own off-grid house one day. Because once you learn how all this stuff works, you stop wanting to depend on everything around you. But before any of that happens, the van build's gotta get done.